to crochet with Potter and Bloom.
So today I'm going to show you how to make a solid colour granny square. They're really easy and they're really pretty, and I think it makes a bit of a difference doing a solid colour. You can either make lots of this size solid colours and join them together, that makes a nice blanket, or you can just make an entire blanket in this size or this colour in this size. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my marbles. Yeah, it's pretty swishy, isn't it? So get yourself some yarn and a hook, and I will show you how to make a solid colour granny square. So to make your solid colour granny square, you start off as always with a slip knot and a chain 4, and then you join the chain 4 to the beginning chain with a slip stitch to create a loop. Okay, chain 3 and 2 trebles into the loop. Now at first the loop is a bit elusive. I have to admit that I find the loop a bit elusive, but after a bit of practice you'll get to know exactly the right place that the loop is, and once you've done your first 2 trebles you can generally see quite well where it is. Makes it easy. 2 chain, 3 trebles, two chain, 3 trebles, I love this colour. Whoops, I made a mistake because I was concentrating on this colour. It is so nice. I'll put a link in the box below to the wool that I'm using. It's quite an unusual wool, this one. It's like a slightly felted yarn. It's got a slightly unusual texture to it. It's really nice. And another 3, chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of your beginning chain 3 to finish your first round. So when you're making a multicoloured granny square, you would then cut your yarn and tie your next colour in, but because we're actually making a single colour square, what I like to do I like to start at the beginning of a corner. Now that sounds like a strange thing to say, but if you can see where I am with this stitch here, I'm at the end of this corner. Can you see? So the corner starts here and ends here, and I don't like starting my corner from an end. So to get to the beginning of this corner, which is how I do my solid colour grannies, I slip stitch through the top of the 2 stitches that are in my way, and slip stitching is just a way of moving your hook and your stitch around to be in the place that you want it to be. It doesn't create a stitch, it doesn't create any height, it just moves you. So I've moved and I've gone into the next corner, and so I chain 3 and 2 trebles, I don't know if everybody else does that. 2 chain and 3 trebles, sorry, that's for your corner. So in every granny square corner you do 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles, And if you're doing the starting corner, obviously you do, your first treble is a chain 3. Okay, and then you chain 1 to move from this corner to this corner, and then you just work your 3 trebles, 2 chain and 3 trebles into this corner. Yeah, so I don't know how everybody else does this. I don't know if people slip stitch into the next corner or not. I just sort of, when I started doing solid colour granny squares, I just pretty quickly realised that I didn't like starting off at the end of the corner, so I do it like this. So you've done your 3 trebles, your 2 chains and your 3 trebles in this corner, chain 1 and then move to your next corner, 3 trebles, oops, I'm not doing very well today. I am in the quiet room again because I thought that the sound quality on the last few videos that I did in here was so much better without the motorway soundtrack going on in the background. So yeah, it does mean that I have to, so in the front, the office is at the front of the house and all of my lights and camera were set up there, so it just means that I have to lug the lights through into what is essentially our living room, which is at the back of the house. So yeah, it's all right actually. It's not a great big deal, but it was a lot easier to just sit down at the desk, switch the lights on and start working, but I don't mind. I think it's a lot quieter. The other thing I could probably do with getting is a directional microphone. I wonder if I had a directional microphone, whether I could then work in the front room again, because it might be a bit easier to hear what I'm saying, because I think it would just pick up on me rather than on ambient noise as well. I just use the word ambient. Oh, I look so cool. Okay, so we finished. I've chained 1 to get from this corner to this corner, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3. Okay, and we have completed round 2. They look so nice, don't they? This yarn is really, really nice. It's a German brand, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but I do believe that this particular wool is called shopper wool, something like that. It's really nice. Look at it. So that's round 2 completed, and again I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Can you see where I've ended? I've ended in a tricky situation. I could potentially start in this gap, but I don't want to. I want to start here because I want to start at the beginning of this corner. So I'm going to slip stitch across those two stitches again. So you just put your hook through and you just slip and slip and then slip into the space. Slip into the space and make yourself comfortable. Chain 3 and 2 trebles, and then chain 2 and 3 trebles. It is it's such a lovely repetitive thing to do at Granny Square. I love them a lot. So you finished your corner and then you chain 1, and now we move into what we're going to do with our middle spaces. So with Granny Squares you have corner spaces, which always have 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles in, and you have middle spaces which always just have 3 trebles in. So we chain 1 and 3 trebles into this middle space. And then chain 1 and then we're back into a corner. So 3 trebles, 2 chains and 3 trebles. So I've put, so where I'm sitting now, I can see the garden. There's like a big door, big glass door in front of me, and I can see the garden, and I put some bird food out for the birds, obviously. I mean, really. But I mean, I put some bird food out for the little birds, you know, like little robins and blue tits and things like that. And basically I am sitting here watching a giant magpie, which personally I think is the beast of all birds, and I really despise them, from their horrible cacking sound to their sort of gang-like mentality. Oh, I just can't stand them. Yeah, he's sitting and demolishing a fat ball that, you know, could probably feed like 50 blue tits, and yeah, what a git. If I wasn't in the middle of recording something, I would get up and I would shout at him and maybe wave my fist. Yeah. I say, bugger off, Mr. Magpie. I'm not going to say good morning to you like most people do, or reverential like you're some kind of special being. You're not special. I've seen your type before. And you're not welcome in my garden. So I'm working my way around whilst waffling and telling you about my dislike of magpies. I'm working my way around and I'm just following the rule. 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles, 1 chain in between, chain 1 and 3 trebles. In your middle space, chain 1, and then join with a slip stitch to complete your round, your roundy square, your squarey round. And that is how you make a solid colour granny square. Easy, isn't it? So for the next round, obviously now you've got your corner spaces, which you will always do 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles in these spaces, but now you've got 2 middle. So on this row you had 1 middle, and that has 3 trebles in it, and in this row you've got 2, and each of those will have a chain 1 and then a 3 treble, chain 1 and then a 3 treble, chain 1, and then your corner. My camera stopped recording then. I wonder how much it hasn't recorded. And that's it. You just keep going. So for the next round you will have 3 gaps for 3 trebles in. Okay? And you can keep going for as long as you like. I hope that was useful. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe. See you, bye bye.